The day I learned what I was really worth, you were always Mom's charity case anyway. That's what my brother said to me. Not in anger, not even with malice. Just matter of fact. Like he was commenting on the weather. We were standing in our late mother's kitchen, and he just told me he was keeping the house. The investments. Everything. And I should be grateful that he was giving me $5,000 from her savings account. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I just looked at him, nodded once, and walked out. Because here's what my brother didn't know. I didn't need his $5,000. I didn't need the house. And I definitely didn't need his permission to be worth something. My name is David. I'm 33 years old. And for most of my life, I was the forgotten son. My older brother, Marcus, was everything my parents wanted. Stanford MBA, investment banker, married to a lawyer, 2 kids in private school. He made $340,000 a year and made sure everyone knew it. Every Christmas, every birthday, every family dinner ended with Marcus talking about his latest deal, his newest client, his beach house in Malibu. Me? I was a software engineer at a mid-sized tech company. I made $95,000 a year. I drove a 7-year-old Honda. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood Marcus wouldn't even drive through. And when I tried to talk about my work, my projects, anything I was proud of, the conversation would somehow drift back to Marcus within minutes. Our mother loved us both, I think, but she admired Marcus. She bragged about Marcus. When her friends asked about her sons, she'd light up talking about their achievements. Then she'd add, almost as an afterthought, and David's doing well too. He works with computers. I help her anyway. When she got sick 3 years ago, I was the one who took her to appointments. Marcus sent checks. I sat with her during chemo. Marcus called on Sundays. I organized her medications, researched treatment options, and spent nights on her couch when she was too weak to be alone. Marcus visited twice a month and brought expensive flowers. She never asked me for money. She knew I didn't have much to spare, or so she thought. It started small, the way these things always do. When I was 26, I got a promotion to senior engineer. I called my parents excited. My mother said, "That's wonderful, honey," then spent 10 minutes telling me about Marcus's promotion to vice president. My achievement got 30 seconds. He's got a celebration dinner. When I was 28, I bought my first investment property, a small duplex I'd saved 3 years for. I mentioned it at Thanksgiving. My father asked about the neighborhood. Marcus laughed and said, "That area? Good luck with that." Then everyone moved on to discussing Marcus's second home. When I was 30, I tried to get my mother $10,000 to help with medical bills. She refused. "Save your money, David. I know it's tight for you." But she'd accepted $15,000 from Marcus the month before. She'd even thanked him publicly on Facebook. The Christmas before she died, Marcus gave her a luxury cruise voucher. Everyone clapped. I gave her a handmade photo album of our appointment visits, inside jokes, and moments from her treatment journey. She cried when she opened it. Then Marcus joked, "Guess David's on a budget this year." And somehow that's what everyone remembered. At her funeral, Marcus gave the eulogy. He talked about her strength, her grace, and how she inspired his success. He mentioned me once, and David, who was always there to help with the little things. The little things. 2 months after she died, we met at her house to discuss the estate. That's when Marcus told me his plan. He'd already talked to the lawyer, already decided. The house was worth $680,000. Her investment portfolio was worth $240,000. She had $35,000 in savings and a few pieces of valuable jewelry. Here's what I'm thinking. Marcus said, like he was presenting a merger. "I'll take the house and the investments. You get $5,000 from savings." Fair. I asked how that was fair. He looked at me like I was being difficult. "David, be realistic. I can actually manage these assets. You just, I don't know, waste it. Plus, Mom would have wanted her grandchildren to benefit from this. His children, not the children I didn't have. And honestly, I've put way more money into helping her over the years. This is just balancing the books." I should have expected what came next, but it still hit like a punch. We were sitting at her dining table, the lawyer on speakerphone explaining that without a clear will, the estate would be split evenly by law. Marcus kept interrupting, arguing his case. Then he turned to me. "Come on, David. You were always mom's charity case anyway. I was the one she was proud of. I was the one making something of myself. He said it casually, like stating a fact everyone understood. You barely make six figures. What are you going to do with $500,000? You'd blow it in 5 years. The lawyer went silent on the phone. Marcus kept going. I'm offering you $5,000 as a courtesy. Take it. Don't make this complicated. I stood up, slowly. I looked at my brother for a long moment. Then I said, keep it all. He blinked. What? Keep the house. Keep the investments. Keep everything. I don't want any of it. My voice was calm. Flat. We're done here. I walked out while he was still processing. The lawyer was saying something about legal rights, but I didn't care. I got in my Honda and drove home. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just felt clear, like a fog had lifted. Marcus thought he'd won. He had no idea what he'd just lost. I blocked Marcus's number that night. His wife's too. I didn't announce it. Didn't explain. Just cut the line. The first text came 3 days later from his wife. David, Marcus is trying to reach you about finalizing the estate. Please respond. I deleted it. A week later, Marcus left a voicemail. Hey, I need you to sign some documents. The lawyer's waiting. Call me back. I didn't. 2 weeks after that, he showed up at my apartment. I watched through the peephole as he knocked. Waited. Knocked again. I stayed silent on my couch until he left. My aunt called, confused. Marcus says you're not talking to him? What happened? We settled the estate, I said. Everything's fine. But he seems worried. Everything's fine, I repeated. Then I changed the subject. Here's what they didn't understand. I wasn't angry. Anger would have meant arguments, explanations, attempts to make them see what they'd done. I was past that. I was done. And done doesn't need to explain itself. 3 weeks after I walked out of that meeting, I sat in my apartment with a glass of scotch and opened my laptop. First, I pulled up my primary brokerage account. Balance, $1,847,392. Then my secondary investment account. Balance, $623,441. My retirement accounts. Combined total, $891,250. The duplex I'd bought at 28, sold it 2 years later for an $85,000 profit. Bought 2 more properties after that. One in Austin, one in Denver. Current combined equity, approximately $340,000. Total net worth, $3,702,083. I'd started investing at 23, right out of college. Small amounts at first, $500 a month, then $1,000, then more. I learned everything I could about index funds, real estate, and compound interest. I lived in that one-bedroom apartment not because I had to, but because I didn't need more. I drove an old Honda because it worked fine. I wore normal clothes and took normal vacations and let everyone assume I was scraping by. I'd never corrected them because I didn't need them to know. My worth wasn't measured by their recognition. But now they'd earned the truth. Not because I wanted to gloat. Not because I needed validation. But because they'd made their choice clear and they deserved to understand exactly what they'd chosen to walk away from. My mother had known, actually, she'd set up a trust fund for me when I was born. $50,000 that had grown to $230,000 by the time I turned 25, and it vested. She'd never told Marcus, never told my father, just quietly made sure I'd have a foundation. She believed in me, even if she didn't say it out loud. That's when I decided. I'd tell Marcus once, just once, and then I'd be done with him forever. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing. Not dramatically, not vengefully, just methodically. First, I contacted my financial advisor and requested printed summaries of all my accounts. Not screenshots. Physical documents with official letterheads, account numbers, and my full name. The kind of proof that couldn't be dismissed as Photoshop. Portfolio statement from Vanguard. $1,847,392 in index funds and stocks. Secondary brokerage statement from Fidelity. $623,441. Retirement account statements. $891,250 across 3 accounts. Property deeds for both investment properties, with the purchase prices, current valuations, and equity calculations attached. Austin property, $280,000 current value, $165,000 mortgage, $115,000 equity. Denver property, $395,000 current value, $170,000 mortgage, $225,000 equity. Bank statements showing my checking and savings, $67,300 combined. I also pulled tax returns from the last 5 years. Not because Marcus would understand them, but because they were proof. Proof of income, proof of capital gains, proof that I've been building this quietly while he assumed I was struggling. Finally, I printed a document I'd kept for years, a letter from our mother, written when the trust fund vested. She'd given it to me in a sealed envelope. For when you need to remember, she'd written on the outside. Inside, her handwriting, "David, I'm so proud of who you've become. You never needed anyone to see your worth to know you had it. That's the difference between you and your brother. He measures himself by applause. You measure yourself by truth. I hope this money helps you build something beautiful. And I hope you never feel like you have to prove yourself to anyone. Love always, Mom." I'd read it once, then put it away. Now I have made a copy. Marcus wouldn't see the original, but he'd see enough. I organized everything into a folder. Then I sent Marcus a text from an unblocked number. "Let's meet. I'll sign whatever you need. Thursday, 2 p.m., Mom's house. Bring the lawyer if you want." He replied in 30 seconds, "Finally, I'll be there." The day before our meeting, Marcus called again. I answered this time. "Hey, thanks for finally getting back to me," he said. "No apology." No acknowledgement of the silence. "Listen, I need you to sign these papers by Friday, or the whole probate thing gets complicated. You didn't make this easy." "I'll sign them tomorrow," I said. "Good. And look, I know you're upset about the money situation, but you'll understand eventually. This is what's best for everyone." I stayed quiet. "David, I'll see you tomorrow, Marcus." "Okay, but..." I hung up. That night, I barely slept. Not from nerves. From something else. A strange calm. Like standing on the edge of a high dive, knowing exactly what comes next. Thursday, 1:58 p.m. I pulled up to my mother's house. Marcus's Tesla was already in the driveway. His wife's Range Rover is beside it. Through the window, I could see them sitting at the dining table, documents spread out. The lawyer was there too, a woman in her 50s with a practice patience. I grabbed my folder and walked in. They all looked up. "David, good, you're here," Marcus said. "Let's get this done." I sat down across from him, placed my folder on the table. The lawyer slid papers toward me. "These are the estate transfer documents. If you'll just sign here, here, and here, we can finalize everything today." I didn't touch the papers. Instead, I opened my folder. "Before I do that," I said quietly, "there's something you should see." I slid the first document across the table. My Vanguard portfolio statement. Marcus glanced at it, then looked closer. His eyes found the balance. $1,847,392. He blinked. "What is this?" I slid the next document. Fidelity statement. $623,441. "David, I don't." Retirement accounts. $891,250. Property deeds. Combined equity. $340,000. Bank statements. Tax returns. 5 years of financial records showing capital gains, dividends, rental income. The lawyer had gone very still. Marcus's wife was staring at the papers, her mouth slightly open. Marcus looked up at me, his face blank with confusion. "I don't understand. Where did this come from?" "I built it," I said. "Over 10 years. While you assumed I was barely surviving." Silence. Mom knew. She set up a trust fund for me. $50,000 when I was born. It vested when I turned 25. She gave me $230,000 to start with. I slid the copy of her letter across the table. "She never told you because she knew I didn't need you to know." Marcus picked up the letter. "Read it." His hands were shaking slightly. "My net worth is approximately $3.7 million. I continued. "You offered me $5,000 from an estate worth less than $1 million, and you call me a charity case." His wife put her hand over her mouth. "I didn't tell you about any of this because I didn't need your approval. I didn't need anyone to know, but you made it clear what you thought of me. So now you know." I stood up. Keep the estate, Marcus. All of it. I don't need it. I never did. I turned to the lawyer. I'm declining my share. Draw up whatever paperwork makes that official. Send it to my email. Then I looked at my brother one last time. Don't call me. Don't text. Don't show up at my door. We're not family anymore. You saw to that. I walked out, got in my car, drove away. Behind me, the house was completely silent. The first email came that night. Subject line, please talk to me. I deleted it without reading. The second came the next morning. Then another. Then 5 more over the weekend. I blocked his email. His wife showed up at my apartment on Tuesday. I didn't answer the door. She left a handwritten note. David, Marcus is devastated. He had no idea. Please give him a chance to apologize. I threw it away. My aunt called 2 weeks later, her voice careful. Marcus told me what happened. David, I'm so sorry. I had no idea you'd done so well for yourself. It's fine, I said. But it's not. The way he treated you. I talked to him. He feels terrible. He should. Will you talk to him? He's family. No, I said. He made me not family. I'm just accepting his decision. She tried to argue, but I changed the subject and never returned to it. Marcus sent one more email 3 weeks later. This time I read it. David, I've been thinking about what I said. What I did. You're right about all of it. I was arrogant and dismissive, and I took you for granted. I assumed things about you that weren't true, and I didn't bother to question my assumptions. I don't have an excuse. I just wanted you to know that I understand if you never forgive me. But I'm sorry. Truly. M. I read it twice. Then I closed it and never responded. Over the next 2 months, I heard through my aunt that Marcus had started therapy, that he'd told his kids about what happened, trying to teach them not to make the same mistakes, that he'd donated the $5,000 he'd offered me to a charity in our mother's name. I didn't care. It's been half a year since I walked out of that house. I haven't spoken to Marcus. I haven't seen him. I sold my mother's share of the estate documents to him legally through the lawyer, and I donated my $5,000 courtesy offered directly to a cancer research fund. My life hasn't changed much. Same apartment, same job, though I got promoted to principal engineer with a raise to $145,000. Same car. I still invest most of what I earn. My net worth crossed $4 million last month. Marcus's life, from what I hear, has changed a lot. His marriage is strained. His relationship with our father deteriorated when Dad found out what happened. His kids ask about me sometimes. Where's Uncle David? He tells them the truth. I heard him, and he decided he didn't want me in his life anymore. Last week, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I answered. It was Marcus. Before you hang up, he said quickly, I just need to tell you one thing. Just one. I waited. You were right to walk away. I would have done the same thing. I just wanted you to know that I know that. I hung up, but I didn't block the number. I don't know if I'll ever talk to him again. Maybe someday. Maybe never. But here's what I learned. You don't owe people forgiveness just because they're sorry. You don't owe them a relationship just because you share blood. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to be done. And that's okay. If you're listening to this story, maybe you see yourself in it. Maybe you're the person everyone underestimates. The one who's dismissed or forgotten or treated like they're less than. Here's what I want you to know. Your worth isn't determined by whether other people see it. It's not measured in their recognition, their praise, their approval. It's measured by what you build when no one's watching, by the choices you make when there's no audience. I didn't get rich to prove anything to Marcus. I got rich because I was patient, disciplined, and smart with my money for 10 years. I built something real, and when he finally saw it, it didn't feel like vindication. It felt like confirmation. I already knew what I was worth. I'd known all along. The revenge wasn't showing him the numbers. The revenge was knowing I didn't need him to see them. The revenge was being free. So if you're in a family, a friendship, a relationship where you're constantly undervalued, ask yourself, are you trying to prove your worth to people who will never see it? Or are you building something real for yourself, regardless of who's watching? Because here's the truth. You can't make people value you, but you can decide to value yourself. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away from people who refuse to see what they had. They'll figure out eventually. And by then, you'll be long gone. My brother took my inheritance, but he never noticed the trust fund. He never noticed the portfolio. He never noticed that the person he dismissed had already surpassed him. And now he gets to live with that. But me? I'm free.